In this video you're going to be hearing words like we, our and together and words like that, but in actual fact I'll be doing nothing but filming it while my gorgeous fiance does all the work. This will be the Potenza chair that we are recovering. This is not a how-to video, it's more of a follow-along video. We're not professionals. We're basically just having a go at it while you watch along. Okay, so if you can, try to imagine that the fabric is still on this Potenza chair. We only decided to do the video after taking the fabric off, so now what we first needed to do was lie it on its back and cut the lining out from the bottom to gain access to some bolts and some screws, and we'll do that now. Okay, so this is the bottom of the chair, and on here we did have some black lining fabric, and what I did was I cut it away here, which allowed us access to some bolts. There were 4 in total. I believe there should have been 5, but there was only 4. And we have some screws here that hold on the side arm, and there's 2 more further down, but you can't see those at the moment. Now those 2 screws for the side arm are located here in this split. As you can see, the screw there and the screw there, there's 2 of them. Now before we could access these 2 screws we needed to take away some of the fabric, so we did that with a thread unpicker, and I use one of these. Just pick away at the thread. For example, if you had a stitch in here, you would pick away at the stitching and cut away at it until you could remove the fabric, and that's what we had to do here and here to access these 2 screws. And then once you undo those 2 screws, this section will come away. Then we'll have 2 remaining screws towards the back of the arm that will allow you to take the back off. For this I recommend you use a drill. It was really quite difficult to get out using a screwdriver, so I definitely recommend using a drill. Be careful once you get the screws out, because they can be quite hot. That's 1. And 2. Now because I've already took the back screws out, this is just going to come away. But when we first did it, we took the bolts out, took some of the fabric off, took the 2 screws out, and we pulled this piece away before unscrewing the back screws on the armrest. So as you can see, we got the bolts and the screws out. Not a massive job really, using a drill. Then the next step was to get the rest of the fabric off. It was a little difficult getting all the staples out from the bottom. There was quite a lot, but we managed it. Let me just tuck away the fabric, and we did the same for the arm rest and the same for the back. Now the back, they used adhesive spray, I believe, to stick the fabric to this lining that's also been stuck to the foam underneath. So obviously that's what we'll be doing when we recover it. You can see all the fabric we've took off here. I'd strongly recommend, now if you're just going to rip it all off and throw it, then it doesn't matter this part, but if you're going to use them as a template, which we are for the new fabric, then you want to label bits of your fabric, like that's the back, because it'll be slightly different to the front. So yeah, that's the next step. We're going to get ourselves some fabric and have a go at recovering it. We've only ever done one thing like this before, and that was that there, which came out okay, but that was, I'm going to guess that had been nowhere near as difficult as this, but we're going to give it a bash. So this is the place that we're going to try for our fabric, but we're not going to film inside because it might be a bit awkward. Okay, so this is the fabric we decided on. It's like a grey tweed type fabric. It was £40 for 4 metres, which is obviously £10 per metre. That might seem expensive, but it's actually quite cheap, and for a fair price compared to other places. And this piece specifically is going on the back, and it'll be going on in 5 pieces. We'll have the front piece, 2 side pieces, a piece for the top, and then obviously a piece for the back. And we're going to do all that with the help of this, which is an handheld sewing machine. This was from Amazon. I'll link in the description if you want to look. And basically how it works is you push the button, and as you can see, it just does its job. That's what it does. So hopefully with the help of that we can get this section finished. So this is the back piece that was originally on the chair, and we're going to use this as a template, but before we do that I'm just going to iron it out, get all the wrinkles out of it, just to ensure that we get a decent template. Okay, so we've got the new material laid down on the floor. There's not much room in here, so it's a little bit difficult. And you just want to put your template on top of the new material. Get as flat as you can. So the idea is to get yourself a pen that will draw on fabric, and basically just follow the template as best you can. You're not going to get it perfect, but the template isn't perfect anyway. So okay, so that's the back piece drawn out, ready to be cut, and now we're doing the front piece. So you probably can't make that out, but that's 2 pieces done, the front and the back. It goes without saying that you should use an extremely sharp pair of scissors for this. So that's the first piece cut out, as you can see. Now on to the next piece. So as we said earlier, make sure you have a nice sharp pair of scissors, otherwise it can end up being a nightmare job. This is the second piece, we're almost done now with this one. Okay, so we're moving on to the 2 side pieces. As you can see, we've already drawn around the template. This is the first side, and we'll be doing the other side next. Okay, so this is the top piece for the back. As you can see, we're using an offcut for this piece. Okay, so once you've got all 5 pieces cut out, it's time to sew them together. And obviously we do that from the inside out. Yeah, is that right? Mm-hmm. We've done one side using the hand sewing machine, and it's done a good job. A regular sewing machine would probably be better, but it's doing alright. And now we're just going to go on to the other side now. Now obviously you want to make sure that you get the right pieces in the right places before sewing. So the next piece is going on. This is the other side. As you can see, before you sew the pieces together, you can use pins to pin it in place before sewing.
I'm using safety pins because I don't have any actual pins at the moment.
These safety pins came with the sewing machine. And we'll do that all the way to the end before sewing it together. Okay, so we decided to drop the handheld sewing machine and go for the mother of sewing machines. Mainly because there's a few drop stitches and we just think that this is going to do a better job. As you can see, we're halfway through this side. I'm just going to get it finished, and the next bit will be showing you pulling it over the back of that. Okay, so we've got the back and the sides on, as you can see. Done with the sewing machine, has left it much neater, a better stitch. Now we just need to do the top and the front. Okay, so once you've sewn all the pieces together, it will be inside out, so you'll have to put it the right way around. As you can see, it's all sewn together, and now we have to pull it over the top of that. And it is a moment of truth moment. Okay, so we managed to pull it over the top. This is the front, these are the sides, and this is the back, obviously. Now, obviously, the front needs to be stuck on, and we'll do that by spraying some adhesive. Oh, there, you probably can't see that, but we're going to spray some adhesive on the inside and stick it to the back. So a little bit baggy on the back of here, but we're going to see if we can sort that out. Okay, so after a few tweaks, even there, taking this off and taking it in a bit more, doing the sides just to try and tighten it up a bit. We've got to a point where we feel like we can't get it any better. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on with stapling it to the base of the back. So that's the next step. So the idea is to pull your fabric as tight as you possibly can and then staple it to the wooden frame at the bottom, at the base of the backboard. Press on nice and tight and then fire it in there. And we'll do that all the way along and then move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're doing the inside of the back, and we've opted just to staple it rather than glue it down. So yeah, we're doing that now. Okay, so now that we've done the back and we've done it to the best of our abilities, we're going to move on to the seat. And for the seat we have a different fabric, and that is this. And this we got cheap because it's an offcut. There's about 1.5 meters here, and we got it for £9.50 a metre, and usually this is £20 a metre. So yeah, we're happy with that, and that's going to cover the entire seat section. So again, as we did with the back, we're going to iron our template piece nice and flat before using it. Okay, so as you can see, we had just enough to do that length, which will be going around it, and then obviously the seat part is there. Then we'll have a little bit left over, hopefully enough to have some on the armrest. So we've cut the fabric out using the templates, and as you can see, where it joins from ear to ear is where we're going to have to stitch, and it's been pinned all the way around, and now we're going to stitch it all the way around, and then we'll turn it inside out or the right way, whatever, and then we'll place it over the top of here, over the top of the seat, and then we'll staple it underneath, and hopefully it will fit well. Okay, so now that's all sewn together, we need to get it on to the seat, and you have to do it in such a way that the holes for the bolts are lined up with the holes on the backrest. So obviously we have this split here that will have to go towards the back of the seat. Now this bit will require some manipulation. And obviously once we've pulled it right the way over, it'll be stapled to the bottom of this seat section. Okay, so that's the seat covered and stapled. There are a few imperfections, but overall it looks good. We have a bit of an error there, but this is where the chair will be anyway, so that will be hidden. Okay, so once you're happy that you've got it covered up and you're ready to bolt it back onto your backrest, what you want to do is make sure that you poke through the fabric where the holes are for your bolts. So you can see them there, they'll go in there and in there. I just lift it up. You can see the holes are there, and now we're going to fix this to the backrest. Okay, so once you've lined your holes up, you'll need to put your bolts in and then fasten them nice and tight, and then we'll move on to the side arm, the armrest. Then put the feet on, and actually before we put the feet on, we'll have to put the some black lining on. But yeah, for now we're just gonna screw these bolts in. So now that we've attached the seat to the backrest, we need to work on the armrest. Okay, so it's the morning after the night before, and as you can see, we've done the same as we did with the seat and the backrest, and used the old fabric from the armrest to create the fabric needed. Now it's a little bit more tricky, this one. Just move this away, because we have to cover it all whilst at the same time leaving ourselves an opportunity to screw it onto the seat and the backboard, and that's going to be the tricky bit. Okay, so this piece here that's been pinned together ready for sewing is for the front and the inside of the armrest. See, it's pinned. Okay, so we sewed all the pieces of the arm fabric together, and then literally we had to shimmy it on, you know, pull it over the top of the arm so it went over it. And now it's a case of stitching this bit in place properly, and tacking it to get a nice straight line. Then we'll have to tighten everything up with tacks. We'll have to tack it to the bottom. Obviously before we do that, we're going to have to pull the fabric up and screw this onto the seat and the back So yeah, we're going to do that next. So once you've got your arm lined up with the seat and the back rest, you're going to want to lift the fabric up and place your screws in there and then drill them home.
Not moving, I've got my knees on it.
Right, so I've left them a bit loose just to help us manipulate any of the fabric or the armrest itself. Okay, so now that that's screwed on fully, we need to pull the fabric over the bottom and staple that up as best we can. Okay, so we stapled the arm up and did as best we could with it. This really was the hardest part of it all. It was really difficult to get the cover on nice and straight while at the same time being able to screw it into the seat and the backrest. Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare that, to be honest, and it'll probably need a few tweaks here and there before we've actually finished. And then we moved on to the base, to the bottom of the chair. As you can see, there's the black lining fabric on it. You're probably thinking, what the hell, that's a mess, and you will be right, it is a mess. The thing is, we ran out of staples and we had to use staples that we had in a drawer that wasn't quite the right size, so it was firing out two staples in one go, which became a bit of a nightmare because we had to tap in with hammers and stuff. And basically what happened was my fiance got fed up and just fired on with it and just basically left it like that. So yeah, then we put the feet on back where they was, and that's nearly a job finished. We're just going to stand it up now and have a look at it overall. As messy as this is, I mean, you're not going to see it anyway. It's going to be stood up, and we're keeping it. We're not selling it. If we were selling it, we'd probably take that off or not even do it that way to start with. But we're not. We're keeping it. So yeah. So this is basically the finished article. Bar a few tweaks here and there. This is where it'll be positioned in this room. So like I said, there's minor imperfections, but there's going to be, because we're not professionals. It's a difficult thing to do. But I think we managed it okay actually, and it looks good. Or my fiance did, should I say. All I've done is film it really. So yeah, I'll just spin it round. So that's the back of it. You can see. Spin it back round. So yeah, overall, not a bad job. Not a bad job at all. And this guy seems to like it. New chair. Thomas's new chair. At least now it is.